The Man in Apartment 13. I moved into my new apartment complex in early October. It wasn't fancy, just an old, 5-story building on the edge of town. The rent was cheap, the neighbors were quiet, and it was exactly what I needed after a rough breakup. At the far end of my hallway was Apartment 13. The number was faded on the door, almost like someone had tried to scratch it off. Its blinds were always shut, even during the day. No lights, no sound, just empty. At least that's what I thought. One day as I was unlocking my door, my neighbor across the hall, an older woman named Mrs. Landers, peeked out. "You just moved in, didn't you?" she asked. "Yeah," I nodded. She hesitated, glancing toward Apartment 13. Then she leaned in, lowering her voice. "Listen, honey, whatever you do, don't talk to the man in 13. If he knocks, don't answer. If you see him in the hall, just keep walking." I frowned. "Why? Who is he?" She shook her head, her face pale. "You don't want to know." I almost laughed it off. Maybe he was just some weirdo, or maybe she was being dramatic. Either way, I wasn't planning on making new friends. But then, the knocking started. It was around 2 a.m. when I first heard it. A slow, rhythmic tap, tap, tap against my bedroom wall. It was faint, almost like someone tapping a single knuckle against the wood. I told myself it was just the pipes. The building was old. It creaked and groaned at night. No big deal. Then the next night, it happened again. Same time, same tap. 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 I pressed my ear against the wall, trying to listen. That's when I heard something else. A whisper. At first I thought it was the wind, but then I made out words. "I see you." My blood ran cold. I jumped away from the wall, heart pounding. No way, I just heard that. "Apartment 13 is supposed to be empty." The next morning, I went straight to the landlord's office. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "Who lives in 13? She glanced up from her desk, frowning. "Nobody. That unit's been empty for over a year." A chill ran down my spine. "That's impossible," I said. "I hear knocking, whispering." She stared at me for a long moment. Then, in a quiet voice, she said something I'll never forget. "Then you should move out." That night, I barely slept. I kept the lights on, sitting in bed, staring at the wall where I'd heard the knocking. Hours passed. My eyelids grew heavy. Maybe I had imagined it. Maybe it was just paranoia. Then at 3:13 a.m., I heard something new. The door handle of Apartment 13 jiggled. I held my breath. My apartment was directly across from it. If I opened my door, I would see whoever was trying to get in. Then footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming down the hallway towards my door. I grabbed my phone and crept toward the peephole. My hands were sweating. My chest felt tight. I looked. There was a man standing in front of Apartment 13, tall, thin. His back was to me, his head tilted at an unnatural angle like he was listening. Then, in one sharp motion, he turned. And I swear to God, he had no eyes, just dark, empty sockets staring straight at my door. My body locked up. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then he did something that still haunts me to this day. He smiled, a slow, wide grin that stretched too far, revealing blackened gums and jagged teeth. I stumbled backward, nearly dropping my phone. I blinked. He was gone. I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch, clutching a baseball bat, waiting for the sun to rise. I had to get out. Then, just before dawn, a letter slid under my door, a filthy, crumpled piece of paper. I stared at it for a long moment before picking it up. In shaky, uneven handwriting, it said, "Don't leave. He follows." I threw it down and ran. I grabbed my suitcase, my keys, my phone. I didn't even care about my deposit. I was done. As I rushed outside, I glanced up at Apartment 13's window. The blinds were still drawn, but this time, a silhouette stood behind them, watching. I never looked back. The aftermath. Weeks later, I was staying with a friend when I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer. Then came a text. "Why did you leave?" I blocked the number. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard something outside my window. Tap, tap, tap. And I wondered, did I really leave him behind?